In 1997, a cat named Ninja was accidentally left behind when a family moved from Utah to Washington state. 14 months later, Ninja appeared at the family's new home. It had traveled over 850 miles through terrain it had never crossed, through mountains, rivers, and regions it had no memory of, through a landscape that, by any conventional explanation, should have been completely unnavigable. This is not a story. This is a documented case, and it is not the only one. Welcome to Your Cat Mind. Science does not like the word impossible. It prefers the phrase, not yet explained. The navigational feats of domestic cats fall firmly into that second category. Over the last century, researchers have compiled dozens of documented cases, not anecdotes, not folklore, of cats returning home across distances that defy any conventional explanation. A cat in Germany found its owner 1,500 kilometers away in a town it had never visited. A cat in Florida crossed 200 miles of unfamiliar highway corridor to return to its original home after a relocation. In each case, researchers asked the same question: how? Not whether it happened. The documentation was solid. The question was the mechanism. The cats were not following scent trails. The distances were too great and the terrain too varied for olfactory navigation. They were not following roads they knew. They had never traveled these routes. They were not responding to sound or familiar landmarks. They arrived, through the unknown, at exactly the right place. Something else was guiding them. Right now, the Earth is generating a magnetic field. It has been doing this for approximately 4.5 billion years. It is everywhere. It passes through walls, through water, through living tissue. It is present in this room right now, at this moment, completely undetectable to your senses. You have no organ that responds to it. Your cat may. Magnetoreception is the ability to detect and orient using the Earth's magnetic field. It is documented in migratory birds, in sea turtles, in certain fish, in bats, in bees. Each of these species navigates with a precision that cannot be explained by the senses scientists initially assumed were responsible. When researchers removed the obvious cues, visual landmarks, scent, sound, these animals still navigated accurately. The field was the map. For decades, scientists searched for the same mechanism in mammals, and then they started finding it. The leading hypothesis for how magnetoreception works involves magnetite. Magnetite is a naturally occurring magnetic mineral. When it forms as microscopic crystals inside living tissue, those crystals physically respond to magnetic field lines, rotating, aligning, generating a signal that the nervous system can register as directional information. It is, in the most literal sense, a biological compass needle. Magnetite crystals have been found in the tissue of migratory birds, in the bodies of sea turtles, in the nasal tissue of certain fish, and in studies of mammalian tissue. Researchers have found evidence consistent with magnetite deposits in locations that would allow magnetic field detection. Your cat's body may contain, right now, microscopic crystals that are continuously responding to the Earth's magnetic field. Not as a conscious experience, not as something your cat thinks about or decides to use, as a signal. Constant, passive, automatic. The same way your inner ear provides balance information without you deciding to receive it, your cat's magnetoreception, if the hypothesis is correct, may be providing continuous directional data that its nervous system incorporates into its spatial map of the world. It does not know it has a compass. It just knows which way is home. Here is what changes when you understand this. Your cat's relationship to space is not the same as yours. When you move to a new home, you lose your landmarks. Your cognitive map is built from memory, places you have been, routes you have traveled, visual cues you have associated with location. When that map disappears, you are lost. Your cat may be operating on a fundamentally different system, a system that does not depend on landmarks, a system that does not require prior experience of a route, a system that uses a reference frame that never changes, the planet's magnetic field, and is therefore equally functional in an unknown city as it is in a familiar backyard. This is why the cats in the documented cases did not need to know the way. The way was not a route they had traveled. It was a direction they could feel. And here is the detail that changes the way you look at your cat right now. Every time your cat sits in a window and stares at something you cannot see, every time it orients its body in a direction that seems arbitrary, every time it pauses, adjusts, and moves with the kind of quiet certainty that has no visible cause, there is a possibility, not a certainty, but a genuine scientific possibility, that your cat is reading a field that surrounds you both in this room and that you have never once detected in your entire life. It is not seeing something you cannot see. It is feeling something you cannot feel. And it has been doing this, quietly, constantly, since the day it was born. Science has not confirmed magnetoreception in domestic cats. The mechanism has not been fully mapped. The crystals have not been definitively located. The research is ongoing. But the behavior it would explain, the cases that have no other explanation, exists in the documented record. Ninja made it home, and science still cannot fully tell you how. So the next time your cat sits very still and seems to be oriented towards something specific that you cannot identify, consider this. You are sharing a room with an animal that may be continuously reading a field that has existed for 4.5 billion years, one that you walk through every day without ever feeling it. Tell me in the comments, has your cat ever found its way back after being lost? I read every single one.